Morning, Raptor Freak. Alexiot's here. Was it Tuesday? Tuesday morning. Raptors lose 30-point loss to New Orleans Pelicans last night. And honestly, I'm trying to blur it out in my head a bit, but I had to go watch the highlights again just now to refresh my memory of exactly what happened last night. This nightmare that I didn't want to believe happened, but it did happen. And this is something that happens to NBA teams every season. There are some games that are just absolute shit the bed kind of games where you can't get anything good to go for you, and the other team has all kinds of good things going for them. And this game was really bad in a lot of different ways. And Nick Nurse after the game said they didn't have it on either end of the court, whether it's shooting wise, really bad. But Nick Nurse thinks they did worse on defense, actually. And I can't disagree with him. Looking at the team stats from last night, the Pelicans shot 58% from the field last night. They outshot us like crazy last night. And that really is the big difference. Even though we got way more field goal attempts than them, we got more free throws, we still lost to them. We got way more shot attempts, but we shot so poorly and they shot so well that it didn't matter. It's like really crazy the differences in how many shots we got over them and how many free throws we got over them. So we can't even complain that the free throws were not equal like in the Denver game, because they actually really were last night. And it just was really unfortunate that this happened. Like there's other stuff we did really well in, like we got 19 offensive rebounds last night. That's super good, and the fact that we got so many more shots than them, we shouldn't have lost by 30. That is insane. One stat that I'm looking at right now is our assists. We only had 8 assists last night. These guys were not moving the ball between them very well. And that's really the best way to get your guys open for the best shots. And we just weren't finding the right kind of ball movement. I don't know if the flex offense seemed like it wasn't being used properly last night. Like a lot of times I didn't see a lot of the stuff at the top of the key where they do the screen offs to start and initiate it and try and cultivate a good open shot. Because, I didn't see much flex offense last night. And then our defense was really bad. It was a step too slow. We had really bad energy just in general. I don't know if these guys did something for the Super Bowl the night before or what the fuck was wrong with them, but they came out with nothing. The only two guys that in some ways that had a lot of energy and were doing something were Pascal and Chris. And they're the two guys who drink the energy drinks. So I'm wondering if they all need to start drinking some energy drinks before the game, get that 5-hour energy like Chris. Because honestly, he was one of the only respectable Raptors last night in what he was doing out there with what time he was given. He was out there for 23 minutes, 15 points. 6 rebounds, and he went to the line 12 times last night. Chris Boucher was working, and he was getting hit, and he was getting rewarded. And I love to see that. I love seeing Chris get to the line so much. So let me see what you guys are saying. Raymond Jacob, good morning. Have you ever considered doing live game chats during stream where we can hear your reactions, cussing, etc.? You know what? Actually, I have considered doing this because I feel like, Luca Rosano does this. There's a couple other people out there that do this kind of stuff. If you guys want me to try this out, I could try this out at some point because there is a lot of insight and little things that I'm seeing during the game that I do make note of. So I'm actually in the very early preliminary stages of possibly trying this, Raymond. It's just that I've got to figure out how I can do it with the way that I watch the game. Because, once again, my internet is not the most, I've got an upgrade and it's a lot better. So maybe I can try it now. Before I just thought there's no way I could do it because I had the worst internet in the world. And trying to stream the game through and do a live stream during it could cause problems. But I would love to do it. And I know y'all would get a kick out of what I'm saying because I make little jokes but throughout it. Like when something funny happens, like Jeff Green getting kneed in the nuts by OG, you probably would have heard something funny when I said that point. And yeah, just being able to point out like little things about when the refs are doing something really fucked up during the game, or maybe just like, just putting a little insight in there, some little fun comment, a little bit of cuss. You wanted to hear me cuss last night. And there was a lot of cussing, here last night for sure. G saying Raps shot 18 more times and way out rebounded them, but then shot horribly. Pelicans shot the Pelicans shot out of their minds. CJ McCollum is officially a Raptor killer. I think he already was on that list. But man, how often do Western Conference opponents get a chance to go 3-0 against us? Because of this trade that he got traded to them, we had to see him 3 times. And all 3 times we saw CJ this year, we lost. We lost both the Portland games, and we lost this game against New Orleans last night. CJ is a Raptor killer, and he looks really good in their lineup. This Pelican team is not an out-of-the-playoff team. They're going to definitely be in the play-in, and they're a playoff-level kind of team with this team, not even with Zion. In fact, I think you bring Zion back, he fucks them all up. So it's like this team that they've got right now is nasty. Like right away, they get CJ McCollum and Tony Snell. I was like, Tony Snell out of the blue. Like he's been on another team and he never got to play. And now all of a sudden he's on the Pelicans and he got some really good quality minutes last night. So they saw just from when we saw them in January and beat them by 4 points, they are upgraded. Definitely with CJ McCollum. And he was that difference in some ways for that stuff. But man, seriously, y'all, the game last night is one of those kind of games that happens throughout the season where you just can't make shit and the other team's just having everything go right. It's like, how often do we have like 3 or 4 Raptors absolutely ice cold, not able to do nothing? And that really, Gary, OG, and Scotty, all 3 of them were not doing jack shit last night. They were having problems, struggling, all 3 of them. You know, Scotty was missing a lot of shots that he normally would make close to the basket. Gary was missing everything. He didn't make his first shot until under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, y'all. Gary had missed like 0 for 12 at that point. And finally, he only hit 2 shots at the end of the game and both threes, and they were helpful. And I was like, man, maybe Gary can finally pick it up and get hot all of a sudden or something. No, it's just those 2 threes. And Fred was doing all right. He was valiant. And Pascal was, he was Pascal trying, but he even only got 18 points and he didn't shoot super well either. It was just a really tough game. Lumpy Rex, that wasn't fun to watch, eh? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't watch the whole game. They probably cut it off. They probably went away. But yeah, I stuck around. I watched the whole thing. I saw what Nick did in the fourth quarter when he brought out that energy lineup, which was very interesting. It was doing some sort of things, but really they just got blown out. And, it's too bad that we don't have anybody that can come in off the bench and kind of pick up that scoring load if some of our starters aren't playing well. Because we've been so reliant on our starters. When these guys get single digits and like 3 of them get single digit scores, that really hurts our scoring output and our effectiveness on offense. Like these guys are absolutely essential to be hitting something. We can't just have Fred and Pascal in double digits on the starting lineup. And then Chris is the only other guy on the whole entire team that got double digits. I thought Kem was really good. Like he played really well at different times and he actually shot well and did a lot of different things really good. And once again, and I'm glad Nick said this in the press conference after the game, he's going to have to reevaluate the center stuff. Like he can't start a team like he starts against guys like Jonas anymore, because right away at the beginning of the game, guys like Jonas Valanciunas and Jokic are absolutely destroying us and getting their team off to a brilliant start. And it's like, this can't continue, because I love Scotty. He can't do this. You're giving him too much of a hard assignment right at the beginning of the game. And once again, everybody who's like, well, what? It's all of them. No, Scotty's the starting center. He jumps the jump ball and he bodies up the biggest guy usually at the other, like in the beginning. And we can't have that inexperience against that right now. Like down the road, I'll feel confident in him handling guys like that when he has more time on the court and experience. But right now, these guys can absolutely eat him alive. And Jonas, right in the way, like in the first 5 minutes of the game, he had incredible stats just because he was so dominant. And we can't afford to start games like this anymore. So I really like that Nick Nurse said after the game that they're going to have to reassess how they deal with teams that start big centers, because he really needed to open his eyes and see this. And the last time we played the Pelicans, we started Kem Birch because Gary Trent wasn't able to play. And that really was helpful and effective from the beginning of the game. So I think that we're going to see something after the All-Star break, or maybe even tomorrow night, where he's changing the way he's playing his guys now. In fact, he's going to have to change a lot of different things, I think, in some ways. And putting Kem Birch in the starting lineup as his guard centers is really smart, because somebody comes out and then hopefully they can be some scoring off the bench from the starting lineup. But yeah, we can't have all those guys go so bad. I don't know what the fuck happened to OG last night. Like he would basically did that Homer Simpson meme going into the bush. Like he just backed into the bush and then he was gone for the night. And that was really disappointing, because I just said, well, at least with OG, we get that baseline of good defense. But he wasn't even giving that. Like none of them were giving good defense last night. They were all a step too slow. The rotations were really bad. And New Orleans was getting whatever the fuck they wanted. They could just do whatever the hell they wanted. And that's evident in their field goal percentage. So let's keep going. Let's see. You guys are saying, oh, wow, you guys went ahead. Let me see what was going on here. Yeah, all right, G. They were moving the ball, but OG, Gary, and Barnes went 5 for 30. So they had to resort to ISO. Man, that is really bad. I feel like that's the opposite of what you should do. When you're having such a hard time, you got to really kind of work to get those open shots. And there were a couple possessions last night where we were stifled by the length of the Pelicans over and over again, but we worked hard through it. And then Pascal would hit a shot right near the end of the shot clock, and we'd get a point. And that's what we really needed. But they were really good on defense last night. Like Ingram was real pest. They just did a really good job. They were definitely the team that came to play, and we did not. I don't know what the fuck happened. Like I don't know what was going on. I wonder if these guys did do something for the Super Bowl or something like that. That really is something that I was thinking about. Let's go. Lumpy Rex, totally agree. Pascal and Chris were good. They just had energy. Pascal was fighting. He was trying. I mean, that was really impressive when he got poked in the eye. And, oh, man, my heart dropped, man, in that moment. Seeing him go to the back like that and him just pointing straight to the back, like, this is not good. And he's holding his eye. I just knew, like, this could be very, very bad. And thank God he came back. His eye was so freaking red. And he like hitting that shot at the end of the first half, like that little bank shot when he was falling backwards. That was really good sign to me, because like, oh my gosh, he came back so soon. He was able to play. Okay, his eye's okay. Oh, exhale. Whoo, man, that was bad. Bad thing to see. G saying Valentine's Day is not good for Gary. Valentine's Day, actually, somebody posted the stat. We have a bad record on Valentine's Day. And a lot of people were posting, including the guy who did it, Jeremy Lin, that whole game like 10 years ago where Jeremy Lin hit a clutch shot at the end of the game to beat us at home on Valentine's Day. He hit a 3 and a buzzer beater right at the end to help the Knicks beat us. So we have a bad history on that particular date. Like, I think we're like 2-8 on Valentine's Day historically for the franchise. So yeah, I don't, it is what it is. Gary was brutal in some ways. Like, you know what it is right now? It's reminding me of the beginning of the year when he didn't have his rhythm exactly right. Like, he was coming back from a little bit. He was injured a couple times at different times at the beginning of the year. And he'd come back and he'd always have a couple of games where you have to find his rhythm again. Well, he absolutely did not have his rhythm last night. And I don't know if it's like teams adjusted to him after this crazy stretch of 30-point games and just the way he was operating, that somebody watched some film. And now Denver had some success against him on Saturday. Maybe the Pelicans saw the tape and they saw some things that they did well, and now they're doing it also. And this is what this means, is we have to adjust again, Nick Nurse, with our offensive plan to free Gary up again. It may be that other teams have figured him out a little bit at this point. And we got to make an adjustment with how we're trying to get him free and loose to get his shots again, because they're absolutely crowding him. They're making it really difficult for him to operate like he was just 2 weeks ago. And that sucks. I hate that. Oh, I hate that. Callie, good morning. I don't even want to ask about your stress meter. I'm sure it wasn't even evident. You were just kind of like, like all of us were. That was the worst shooting game, man. Defense was awful. That's the thing. We were bad on both ends of the court. Like Nick said, as bad as we were at offense and the way we shot, he thinks that we played worse on defense last night. So there's a lot of learning tape and stuff like that. Once again, another learning game for young players, developing team. Raptors are developing, even though they're a winning team also. They're developing, and they have to go through these lumps. They got to go through these games that are tough. I think the coaches learned some tough lessons last night about playing against centers without having a center at the beginning of the game. I think that the players learned some tough lessons about coming out flat and just like not playing up to the ability. And this is the thing. We have so many guys on the bench that should be hungry right now. When our guys on the starting lineup don't have it, they should be coming out and putting in the bench guys who are absolutely hungry and trying their damnedest. And even those guys, when they got in, they didn't really look that great at all either. Like they came in and they kind of, Thad Young was interesting in his debut. I thought that he did okay. It was a mixed bag, but seeing a vet like him get a 5-second inbounds violation, that's not a good sign. I did not like that because, like, dude, you've been in the league for how long? You got to get the ball in. At least call a timeout or something when you get to that point. But he turned the ball over that way. And, there were a couple of things he did really well. Like, I like his offensive rebounding. He showed some good offensive rebounding last night, and he did make some nice shots down near the basket. He's still got a lot to learn. And the other thing he said after the game was that part of the reason why this is such a difficult team to adjust to is that he has to learn all 5 positions. That's what the players were saying at the beginning of the season, that with this new system, they have to learn every single spot all together. So it's like it's very heavy like learning for him right now. He has to learn a lot all at once because that's how the Raptors run things. So it's going to be tough. Lumpy said he watched me, and Raymond's also saying I would tune in for that. You would like to watch the game hearing you live. You know what? Maybe I will try that. I don't know if I'll try it for the Minnesota game because things are a little hectic here tomorrow. But maybe I'll think about doing it. You know what, guys? Maybe I'll try it out for the All-Star weekend. Maybe I'll do some just like Raptor Freak Live, watching the All-Star stuff. Like maybe that's what I'll do Friday night. We'll try it out with the celebrity game and the stupid shit that night. And we'll maybe I'll do Saturday and I'll do the Sunday too. We'll just try it out on Friday night. I'll do it the first time. So maybe what I'll do is this week, when the All-Star break starts, I'll do normal morning stuff on Thursday, and then on Friday I'll come on and do a live stream during All-Star Friday night. And we'll try that as the first one. I won't do a thing in the morning. I'll just do a watch along on Friday night. I think we'll try that. Let's just try it on Friday night first. If it goes well, if my internet capacities allow for this to happen, then maybe I'll do Saturday night also. And we'll watch Freddie's 3-point competition and the stuff like that. So, yeah, let's do a test. I like what you guys are saying. And, I'm always open to suggestions and different things with this station and what I'm doing with this channel. You guys are a part of it. You guys are creating it with me. This is an interactive, positive Raptors channel. And so let's try that. Friday night, I'll put it on there for like a date thing. So it's a little different than what we normally do because we're here in the morning. We'll do something just at night on Friday. And I won't do anything in the morning at all on Friday morning. So just so y'all know. Okay, let's see. We'll try it out, test it out that night. I noticed when Gary played the Blazers, it was a similar off night, and now against McCollum. Wonder if it's in his head and he's forcing it. There could be a lot of truth to this. McCollum was the guy he was being compared to and berated about from the Blazers, like front office when they were being mean to him or putting him down. I'm sure that McCollum was the guy they were pointing to, the guy that he held the standard against, because that was who was ahead of him on that team. So there may be some truth to, there may be some sort of monkey on his back from his days in Portland, from having to deal with being in the depth chart below McCollum. And maybe it's also that McCollum was one of his mentors, one of his teachers, one that knows him really well, and he can play him very well also. So there's probably a lot of that going on. I don't like to see Gary in this place like this. We want him to be more confident. We want him to be doing well, obviously. And he's in a bad place right now, at least from the last 2 games, it seems like. But Listen, this is the thing. Tomorrow night, they're going to play Minnesota, and they can't go into the All-Star break with a 3-game losing streak, because what's going to happen is they're going to spend that whole break really getting like upset and pissed off. Maybe it's good. Maybe they will come back with a new like kind of attitude if they do lose again tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? So it's like tomorrow night's going to be real important for setting the tone over the All-Star break when these guys are on vacation and they're taking time off. They have to think and sit either on a losing streak or with one win against Minnesota. So they got to make that decision tomorrow. How do they want to deal with a week off? Do they want to be on a 3-game losing streak or have one huge game in Minnesota against a tough team? Because Minnesota's going to be even harder than this game last night, y'all. I'm not going to lie. This was the easiest game between the 3 games, Denver, Minnesota, and New Orleans. New Orleans was the easiest one. Because the one on Wednesday is not going to be easier. It's going to be Edwards is playing out of his mind, and it's going to be a battle. All around a battle. And I just want them to go into the break with a win and not be on a 3-game losing streak, because I know that it'll either do one of two things. It'll make them feel down on themselves, or it will give them the motivation to get coming back and get back to business and have a whole fucking week to sit around on a loss. That's why they like having the games so quick, one after another, because you get a loss like last night, and you get a palate cleanser. You go on Wednesday and you play the Timberwolves, and hopefully that's what's going to happen this week, is that they just win against Minnesota and they don't have to take the break feeling like losers. So, yeah, it's going to be really, really, really important, the Wednesday game. Let's see. Callie saying, I agree. Chris and Pascal played hard. Birch played too. Yeah, let's point to the positives last night. At least some of our guys were doing something. Chris was really active on the boards. Chris was a pest. I really love what he was doing down there. The fact that he got most of his points at the free throw line is something else. Honestly, really something else. And Birch, you can't get mad. He's 3 for 4, 17 minutes, 6 rebounds, with 4 of them being offensive rebounds. You know, it's just so – I don't even like looking at this box score. Like, really, I look at it and I see OG with 3 points and Scotty with 5 and Gary with 6, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened last night? You know, that we had that bad of scoring from the starting lineup is just really not normal for us. We've been so consistent with all our starters getting double digits pretty much every single game. By the way, Sam Decker quickly posted a photo of him in a Raptor uniform with a nice caption, wondering if he's coming back. Well, that could be intriguing, because that's the thing. That's the big question mark with the money that we got in return for Goran, because Thaddeus is below his contract and we cut Drew Eubanks. That money, it could be that we're bringing Sam Decker back just to have more offensive weaponry and power. I love hearing that, G. If he's going to end up being the extra guy that we get to come back in the end, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see Sam Decker come back, just because we know that he'll help us with 3-pointers for sure. So in some ways, it's almost like, should we have cut Svi at that point instead of Sam, and had Sam this whole year instead of Svi? Because in some ways it looked like, you know, who knows? We'll see. I hope something comes of this, honestly, because he would be helpful, very helpful at this point. Kenrick, good morning. Good to see you. 2 losses to 2 big centers. Hopefully we can get a big from buyout market. Yeah, I mean, the evidence in the last 2 games is really showing that this is an area that we lack. That this is somewhere. It may be that he just needs to make the starting lineup have Kem in it when we have these kind of games, and that may be enough to fix it. But it could be also that we need to try and go get a bigger guy out there and stuff like that, like everybody's been crying out for 2 years now. But I still think that we could get away with starting Kem at center. It's just that we need to start him. Quit fucking around with the guys that you start against Jokic and Valanciunas. You know, you win these games when you start Kem. You got to realize this. Like, you look at earlier in the season when Kem would start games against big guys, we'd neutralize them early and they wouldn't get off to these great starts. Because when you let the big guy get off to such a good start at the beginning of the game, it just sets up the other team for so many good things offensively. And that is what's hurting us. We can't keep up with this once Jokic and, Jonas come out and they absolutely kill us with almost a double-double in the first quarter. That's bad. That is really bad because they're just setting the table for everything else for the rest of their team. So click 2 a.m. Worst game of the season, almost unwatchable. I stopped watching during the third quarter. Very disappointed. Yeah, as bad as this game was last night, I still think the Detroit game was worse just because of where Detroit is in the standings. And honestly, this New Orleans team is actually a playoff team. They're very good. Like with McCollum on this team, he adds a whole thing that they needed badly on this team. Veteran leadership and also just a steady outside shooter. And he was killing us, absolutely killing us. He had people in his face and he was still hitting those threes. And he really was the best player on the court last night, CJ McCollum. And I think that's the difference. I mean, the Detroit team doesn't have guys that should be doing this kind of stuff and blowing us out. And that's why I still think that Detroit game was a bad loss. But really, that Portland loss was super bad too. So it's like now we've had 2 games against CJ McCollum where we've gotten blown out and messed up bad. And that, but yeah, I can see, it's picking like different flavors of ice cream. You like chocolate, I like vanilla. It's like, yeah, I understand. That's a very bad game last night. It's definitely in the top 3. So, but it is what it is. It's like I still think the Detroit one was worse just because of how bad they are in the standings and that we got beat that bad by them. Let's keep going. My Python's saying, oh, man, of course, as usual. Now you see why I said we need Nurkic or Pirtle. Yeah, I didn't disagree with that. I like once again, I'll say Pirtle over Nurkic, but they're not going to get rid of him. San Antonio is actually like, in a weird way, the little deals that they may be even better now with the new guys coming in, Romeo Langford and Josh Richardson and different. San Antonio's got a lot of fight. That Murray kid is a tough kid, and they're trying their damnedest, and they're definitely not like just rolling over and trying to be a total rebuild. They're trying to compete. They're going to try and get in the play-in, and they're going to try and make the playoffs, San Antonio. So they're not selling, and Pirtle, I think, was never actually realistically going to come to the Raptors in a deal because Popovich, I think the person that said that he's like Popovich's guy, he really is. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere. But yeah, we do. I think we need a center. We need some sort of center, or just play Khem more properly. Play him at the beginning to start the tone of the game. Click 2 a.m. If we don't beat the Timberwolves, we're in trouble. Yeah, I don't know if we're in trouble, but it'll definitely set the tone of the All-Star break for the players. Yeah, it'll set the tone for them that they really got to like look in the mirror, work really hard, maybe try and think about how things are going. Maybe the coaches think about how they want to approach after the All-Star break, and they come back with a different kind of rotation. They come back with different ideas about how they want to start guys. They come back with how they want to do minutes differently, maybe more equitably and stuff like that. That may be part of it too, is that the Raptors coaching staff really studies how we're having problems and where we've had successes, and they try and come up with adjustments in the after the All-Star break that help us maybe get more productivity and make things a little more smoother. I think that'll happen. So, but it is going to be sad. Like, it's going to suck if we have this 8-game win streak and then we go on a 3-game losing streak into the All-Star break, and everybody's going to feel like, ugh. But it could be good for them also to motivate them to do really well for the rest of the season. So it's a double-edged sword. In some ways, I kind of want them to lose tomorrow night just so that they can have that anger about how they've been losing and come back to the drawing board after the All-Star break with a real fire. But then again, you never want to lose. We don't want to lose a game. I don't want them to lose, obviously. But in a way, if they don't, then that's what I hope happens, is that they really look at themselves and they come back and treat the rest of the year in a different way. So, like the way they've been treating it until recently. I mean, they really were treating the season the right way right up until this Denver game. Like this Denver game, and even then they didn't treat it that badly. They played really well against Denver, but this game was this was a shit in the bed kind of game. Oh, yeah. Robert Williams on the Celtics did a good job with Joker, and he is 6'8", but huge wingspan. I think you're right. Birch or Precious needs to start against big centers. Birch, not Precious, because Precious isn't experienced enough. Birch has enough time, and he just does enough. Like, the difference in Precious and Birch is the way they hold their legs out there. You can see it. Birch really spreads out. Like he has his legs out wide. He takes up a lot of space, and he uses that base of wide base to really have muscle and hold strong against a guy who may be a little bit bigger than him, a little bit taller and a little bit heavier. But he's strong and really good at kind of like bugging them and getting in between them in the hoop. And Precious keeps his feet a little bit more together in some ways. And that's part of it, is that he's more slender anyway, that like, he's still figuring it out. Like as far as like how to control a big guy with his arm on his back and just kind of trying to guide him to where we want him to go, is like he's still learning that. Whereas Kem already knows how to do that. That's the difference to me as far as between the two of them with doing stuff. Like Precious is learning though. He's going to get better and better at it, but he's only in his second year, and Kem's been in the league for how long? And he has time on the court battling with these big guys like Jokic and Jonas. So he knows what he's doing already. So but yeah, I think that, getting one of those guys in this starting lineup is smart. And we've been saying this all year. Like we said it right at the beginning of the year, start Kem. And then he was like, well, we're having success without starting Kem, but now maybe we need to think about it again. When OG has to guard bigs, his offense suffers. Yeah, I hate when, like, listen, all right, Scotty does the jump ball, and then OG's getting posted on by Jokic or Jonas. I hate that. You can put him in foul trouble early, take him out of the game early. It doesn't help him on his offense does suffer. Like when he has to play against a bigger guy on defense. That's why I want him at the shooting guard, small forward. He should be a wing and just be playing against wings and at both ends and playing wing himself. We have enough big guys at this point that OG can afford to be at the highest, a 3. He shouldn't be a 4 even. I don't want him to be a 4. Pascal can be a 4. That's fine. But OG shouldn't be even a 4. Let alone guarding a 5. That's last year kind of shit, OG guarding centers. And we see it too often still this year. And I don't like it because it hurts his game. And he's much more effective as a defender against wing guys or quick guys or outside guys than having to play Jokic. We know we can guard Jokic if we need him to, but we shouldn't have to need him to at this point. It shouldn't be absolutely essential and necessary for OG to do that. We have other guys can handle that heavy lifting. And I think it's true that it does take away from his offense. And we've seen it last night. He got 3 points. He did not shoot well. But obviously, this is something that takes away from him being able to be more effective with his offensive game. Is if he's spending so much time wrestling the big guy at the other end. Click 2 a.m. Celtics better lose tonight. All the games in their win streak were against poor teams. All the games in their win streak. Yeah, I did look at their win streak and who they were beating, and there were some pretty soft opponents in that win streak. If you look at our win streak and you look at who we beat over that eight games, that's pretty impressive. But if you look at theirs, it's like this is who they were playing. Oh my gosh! So they've got Philly tonight, and Philly. I don't know if Harden's making his debut tonight for them, but yeah, Philly hopefully can have a good chance to kick their ass. Like we don't often root for the Sixers, but tonight we're rooting for the Sixers. But in a way, also we could look at it this way: we can't lose because one of those teams is going to lose, and if Philly loses, also that helps us also. So we just want them both to lose all their games going forward as much as possible. And I hated seeing Brooklyn win last night with Seth Curry against Sacramento. I was really hoping they'd lose 12 in a row, and they righted the ship finally with just Seth out there. Like they didn't have any of their new big 3, with no Simmons, no Harden, no Irving, no Durant. So Seth Curry and the new look Brooklyn Nets beat the Kings last night. So that was too bad too. All right, let's keep going. Callie, I really hope this game wakes them up. I think that it will in some ways. In some ways, it's like don't even watch this tape because you just want to forget about it. It was so bad. But then again, watch this tape. Especially specific moments where they fucked up on defense or just showing the mistake stuff. Like the offensive stuff is really kind of like theory stuff, but the defensive stuff, they could look at the tape and figure it out. But the offensive stuff, I really didn't feel like they were playing the flex offense correctly last night. There wasn't enough motion crisscrossing at the top of the key or in the lane or anything. We didn't see any of that kind of stuff happening last night. And I don't know what's going on with that. And I really wish that Gary and Fred would pass the ball more. Like, I feel like they're trying to do too much isolating. And if they were passing off of each other, like Kyle and Fred used to do more, they'd be manufacturing more easy shots between the two of them. So I really want Fred and Gary to get connected more and start passing off each other to help each other get open for threes outside, because that's something that Kyle and Fred used to do masterfully in the last couple years. And Gary and him need to replicate that. And I don't like how they continually get the ball and then they kind of just isolate and they don't involve anyone else in the offense. They just end up taking a shot or trying to work their way to get their own shot. And I don't like that. I like Pascal doing that because he is a good, really good isolation one-on-one player to beat somebody to the rim or just to shake and get his shot open. But these two guys, there needs to be more passing. 8 assists last night is fucked up. And they should have been way, way more assists. And like, that's how you can get your offensive going, is get the ball moving and start cutting and moving around all over the place. But yeah, I hope it wakes them up too, Callie. It should. This is the kind of, you hate losing at like 1 point. Well, you really hate losing by 30. So that's like a big difference. Click 2 a.m. Gary, Fred need to cook next time. Yeah, I think so. I think that, Gary just needs to start feeling good, find his rhythm again and something, because his rhythm was off last night. He was missing shots that he was making like 2 weeks ago, like easy shots, little like short floaters in the lane. There was some threes that he probably could have hit that he missed, stuff like that. Click 2 a.m. is saying, I also expect a big game from OG soon. Yeah, I hope so. Like, they didn't look happy. They can't think that they played well or had a good time last night in any kind of way. Sue, good morning. Always good to see Sue. That was a tough loss. We were cold all around. It was tough to watch. Yeah, sometimes Nick Nurse said it in the press conference after the game. It's like sometimes during the NBA season, there's 3 or 4 games that are just like this. So I think we've had like 3 of these games now, between the Portland game when we were down 64-34, that Detroit game, and now this game. These are like just games where there's nothing going right for you and everything's going right for the other team, and it's just an off night. And it's like you can get down and like really get into the bushes about this and like think about every little thing that happened. But in a way also, it's kind of like, this just happens sometimes. Let's just wipe the slate clean, wipe our minds of it, and just go forward motivated to not have that happen or replicate anything like that again. And it's just too bad. So many guys were cold, because it was really like, if we have 1 guy or 2 guys cold in a game, we can sustain and be all right. But when it's 3 of our starters, they're absolutely cold. And then the other 2 guys aren't really shooting well either. They're not actually that warmed up either. They're not shooting well either, because Fred wasn't shooting well last night either. And Pascal didn't shoot as well as he's been shooting lately. Like, he didn't really shoot that well last night either. He was 7 for 19, and Fred was 6 of 15. So it's like, even though they got shots in, that's the crazy thing, is like, we had so many more shots than New Orleans. We had 18 more shots, field goals attempt, and we made 29 field goals to their 45 field goals. That is crazy. That's crazy. We got so many more shots, and they made so many more shots than us. And that's a huge difference. That's really crazy. I think Delano needs more minutes. The pace changes when he is on. Yeah, they did something a little different last night. The whole thing with Delano was starting the second and starting the fourth quarters was when he was getting his spots. But he didn't get to start the second quarter yesterday. They put Thad in instead, and he got his debut around then. But Delano did end up coming in later in the game. He wasn't horrible. He was exactly what you're saying. He pepped things up a little bit and got us going up and down the court a little faster. 4 points, a rebound, a steal, 2 for 6 from the field, 12 minutes. That's not bad. He's going to get more minutes and stuff like that. But I think last night it was a positional or situational thing with the Pelicans. He wanted Thad Young to make his debut in his hometown where he was born. And, he just happened to get those minutes that Delano would have normally gotten at the beginning of the second quarter. But he did come in later. and do something. Let's see. Lumpy Rex, welcome to the consultation stream. Consolation stream. Like I'm consoling, or is it a consult your doctor stream? Because you might have like broke your heart last night. We got to consult it. Okay, G saying Goran is officially a free agent. And I hear these rumblings that he might be on the Lakers. And I love that. If you end up on the Lakers and we still get to play you 2 times this year, yes, put Goran on the LeBron train. Let's just see. Like, he's the kind of like red herring, messed up old guy that they should put on that team so they can just see. He's not going to help them. He comes out there, he's going to make them just as bad. So, yeah, that could be very interesting if he's ending up on the Lakers very soon. G saying buyout market could be interesting for us. Yeah, and I think they really do need to see, like, Thad Young isn't a huge splash, but in this move, we could really make a huge splash of some sort of getting something really that will make us excited. Because seems like there's a lot out on the buyout market. Now that you guys are bringing up Sam Decker right now, we've always been talking about DJ Wilson. Who else is going to get bought out and be out there just for us to possibly pick up? Or are we going to bring a guy up from like our own 905 team, or convert a two-way player like Justin Champagny? There's a lot of different options they have. They can be very flexible. And Bobby Webster, like I said last week, he said he's going to wait until it's closer to the March 1st deadline and he'll make a move. So we shouldn't expect this buyout move still, even probably not until after the All-Star break. So, but it could happen sooner. We'll see. Callie saying, do you think Scotty needs to take it stronger to the basket? We don't seem to have anyone that takes it aggressively in there besides Pascal. I don't know. It was weird last night. Like I said, the energy was really bad with our guys. Like the first basket that Scotty made, he didn't even jump. He just this little thing, like put the ball back in and it went in. It was great. But he was like, did he even jump for that? Like, Alvin was saying that. I listen. He is doing really great things and done so much way beyond where he should be as a rookie in some ways this year. But like last night, he kind of showed a little bit more that, like, sometimes he's not going to totally have it, especially if other guys that he plays alongside, like OG and Gary, are struggling also. Because, like, Scotty was 2 for 10 last night. And, like, the one thing that I didn't like about Scotty's game with him missing shots is he wasn't doing enough around other areas of the game, like whether it's defense, rebounding, playmaking. Like, he didn't have a single assist last night. So if our team's hurting like that, make something happen, Scotty. Like, go into your Magic Johnson mode and try and be like a playmaker to set your guys up. Do that kind of stuff. Because if you're not making shots yourself, you can be that kind of player that makes an impact on the game no matter what, whether it's defensively, rebounding, or playmaking. So find that other area out there and excel in that instead if you're not finding the basket that easy. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. Let's see. Monty saying, agreed, Cal. He's veering from his strengths right now. He was shooting a lot of shots down low last night, but he's just missing them. I think the length of the Pelicans really messed us up last night. Like, they are deceivingly long. Like, they do have a lot of different guys that are long. And maybe part of our influence on the league is already starting to happen, that people are starting to play longer kind of lineups more and more, because they're seeing some of the success the Raptors have had and other teams with playing really long lineups. And it was like being in the weeds down there near the basket, trying to make any close-up baskets, because you had Valanciunas down there. You got Ingram running around with his long arms. And then, different other guys like Snell, when they come in there, or Temple, these guys are good, like agitators near the basket and really kind of make it hard for you to do anything right close to the basket. And Scotty was missing bunnies. He's missing bunnies last night. Like, he had really close up close to the basket shots that he missed than when he was right next to the basket. And those would probably go in on other nights. So let's see. Yeah, selling for jumpers and threes. He did shoot a couple. I mean, he didn't shoot too many. Let's see how many. He had 2 threes that he missed last night out of 10 shots. So he was still kind of going inside. I wouldn't say he was totally settling for jumpers and threes. Tom Duke, morning. Going to keep smiling today. We have a great team, and this season is still a success. Tom Duke, keeping it in perspective, y'all. This is what we have to do. We can't be like other Raptor fans today. They're probably chicken littling. They're going crazy. They're saying, this team sucks. We need a lottery pick. We need another lottery pick. All that bullshit. Let's keep it in perspective. This is one game out of 82. It's a stinker. It's a shit the bed kind of game, but these things happen. This is an NBA. This is how the NBA works sometimes. You have bad games sometimes where absolutely nothing goes right for you. Everything goes right for the other team. And then that's that. That's just how it is. And thank you, Tom, for being a voice of reason this morning. We always need good voices of reason on this channel because somebody's going to freak out and be like, we suck, or I'm so depressed. And then somebody comes in and shines a light like Tom Duke. Love it. Sue's saying OG and Gary Trent were really off offensively in the last 2 games. Let's hope they turn it around for the Wolves game. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm really worried that in some ways other teams may have figured out our offense a little bit and how to stymie it. That maybe part of the problem is the flex offense is getting messed up right now, and that we need to readjust it a little bit. This is something that the coaches really need to look at on the tape and figure out how to readjust it. And I know they will, because that's all the NBA is you try different schemes and then teams adjust and they figure it out eventually. And then you have to try something else new out and keep trying to stay ahead of the curve. And that may be what's happening right now is Gary went so crazy recently that finally other teams have got to game plan for him more harder, and that some teams have found success in stopping him recently. And teams will mimic other teams. It's a copycat league. They'll see something good happen in the Nuggets game on Saturday, and the Pelicans will be like, well, let's do this too, going into the game against them. And they were able to mimic that kind of success against the two of them. So they've got to make an adjustment and figure out new ways to free up Gary for his shot. And OG, it's not the same thing. OG's thing is kind of like, OG to me sometimes just kind of, like I said, he fades into the background and doesn't make himself assert himself. Like, I feel like he just needs to assert himself because he can get his offense any way that he wants. And it's not necessarily his rhythm. It's just him being concentrating and trying to go get it and stuff like that. Now, his outside shot wasn't as on, sure. Like, I don't know what was he for 3? He was 1 for 3 for 3. The only shot he made was a 3. And honestly, listen, this is the thing. OG only tried 5 shots last night. There's something wrong there. Like, we weren't even trying to get him the ball, and he didn't play a whole lot later in the game. Like, he played at the beginning of the game, and then we didn't really see him for, like, the second half. Like, barely out there at all, really, if you think about it. But, yeah, I'm hoping they didn't totally figure these guys out. They can make some adjustments, and they can get back to the way they've been playing already. Like, I think OG will have an easier time, but Gary, it's the kind of thing where they may be starting to kind of bring they're not totally doubling on him, but they're definitely bringing to like a guy half on him. It's like a 1.5 double, like where his guys are hedging and coming off of the guy they're supposed to be guarding, but they're also irritating Gary when he has it. And that may be messing him up a little bit. Let's keep going. Click 2 a.m. I'd rather get Moses Brown, a fast center with a huge wingspan, 7 feet tall. There's Moses Brown again. Hey, I'm all for it. If he shows up on our team because that's what they think is the best move, I'll trust in Bobby. But yeah, let's see who it is. It's kind of really a weird mystery package we're gonna get. We have no idea. They can go in so many different directions with this one person, this mystery player that's going to show up on our team by March 1st. It's going to be very interesting. Kenny, the question is, what are our options when Gary and Fred are off? Oh my gosh, I know. Like, what do we do when Gary, OG, and Scotty are all off? You know, and Fred's not really doing that well either. He's struggling to get his shot open. There were a lot of blocks on Fred last night that were absolutely embarrassing. And it's just like, you know, it's a testament to the Pelicans' activity on defense last night. They made it really hard for us to get an open shot. That they were right there messing with us. What was that guy off the bench for them? The rookie, Arvin Alvarado. Yeah, he had that one block on Fred. I hated that. I hated that block because he kind of caught him from the side. But yeah, somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to step up. Pascal can't just go out there and get 50 to 60 points and do it. It's got to be somebody off the bench, or it's got to be like, you know, I don't know. It's like when you have that many guys not playing well all at once, and we've had them play so well. The starting lineup was so concentrated with playing well. When you have like 3 of them not play well in the game, this is what happens. We lose by 30. So it's really bad. Click 2 a.m. We're going to get fucked in the playoffs. I don't think so. I think that listen, if you take a sample size of the Raptors season, you take 10 games and you put them out there, you may see one game like this in the 10. And then the other 9, you'll see maybe another loss that's close. And then you'll see like maybe a loss where we got cheated and lost. And then you have 7 games where we won either close, we blew them out, we won by 10. You have everything out there, but 7 of those games will be wins. And if you look at the quality of play and the way we're playing, once again, don't forget, we play with a playoff intensity when we bring it. And we didn't bring it last night. We didn't bring our normal playoff intensity, defensive kind of strategy. Raptors, they just didn't show up last night. We didn't have it. That some nights you show up and you are flat and you just don't have it. So this is the thing. They're going to get up for the playoffs, and I think we'll be okay still. It's just that this was a flat game, a bad game, and this is something to not base anything on for the rest of the season. This is just one of those games. I knew they kept saying it. Matt Devlin kept saying it's just one of those nights. It's like the Eagles song. It's one of those nights. Yeah, one of those nights where you can't make a shot. That's what it is. It's one of those nights. And we don't want to read into it too much or make this a part of this is our identity. No, this is not who we are. This is not the normal Raptors. We had a really bad night, and it may be a post-Super Bowl hangover that was happening there. Yeah, I don't think it's like literally that they were drinking and they were hungover. It's just that, the Super Bowl was the night before. They probably had a get together and they were all having a good time. And, maybe they ate a bunch of food last night on Sunday night. And that weighed them down or something. I don't know. There's a lot of different things that could have been happening behind the scenes. New Orleans is an interesting city. You get a night off in New Orleans or something like, I don't know what was going on. I could only speculate, but they did seem like they were really flat and unenergetic for some reason, lethargic. So we'll see. Let's keep going. Raymond Jacob, hopefully same Decker. Yeah, you guys want Decker too. It'd be interesting to get him back. I know he went all the way, over to Turkey again and stuff like that. MJ, good morning. Good to see you, man. We need a solid center and a bench shooting guard. I like the bench shooting guard idea. If we could get like a 6'7" shooting guard, that would be awesome. The solid center, sure. I still think it's Chem. It's just he's not being used properly in the right places, but we'll see. Andrew, Alexi, the Raptors must have gotten drunk at a Super Bowl party. Yeah, classic letdown game. Yeah, I don't know if they got drunk. I don't know how many of them are actually drinkers. Like, that's the thing. The NBA used to have everybody was drinking, drinkers. They were drinking halftime and stuff like that. But the new athlete, that's part of why new athletes are so freaking good, is because they're so in tune with their bodies. Like, it's about nutrition. It's about, like, Charles Barkley to eat McDonald's. He'd eat all kinds of crazy junk food back in the day. He didn't have any nutrition. A lot of these players didn't have nutrition. They just ate whatever they wanted to. They drank. They did whatever they want. There were the years, the cocaine years, like the Phoenix Suns and stuff like that. They weren't taking care of their bodies as well as they could have back then. And now it's really such a sports science league and stuff like that. I doubt half these guys drink. Like, I bet you most of them don't drink any alcohol in their lives at all. And, but some of them might, who knows? We'll see. But no, we won't see because it's their private lives. But it's like, hopefully that wasn't part of what happened. And if it was something that had to do with any of it, maybe the guys privately are like, man, I can't do something like that. As I see what happens the next day on the court, stuff like that. Click 2 a.m. Going to school. Have a good day, guys. Straight A's. Click 2 a.m. Do awesome. Kick ass on all your terms, mid or final. Yeah. All right, let's see. Sue, sure hope there's no damage to Pascal's eye. I know he came back, but hope they don't find anything wrong today. It was pretty darn red. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of awful things that could have a scratched cornea, detached, all kinds of bad shit. And the way he was holding it and pointing, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, could not be good. But it seemed like he was okay. And obviously he was shooting okay when he came back out. And I think he's fine. I think he just got a little like regular poke in the eye and is a little red and stuff like that. No kind of real damage because he looked fine at the press conference after the game. And it didn't seem like it was bothering him even at that point. So Jake Caesar, good morning. Always good to see new names. We're here every morning sometime between 8 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern time, just live streaming about the Daily Raptors, whatever's going on. And today we're reacting to a very bad 30-point loss to New Orleans Pelicans last night. Ooh, do you think we need to start a center? Yes, Jake. Yes. This has actually been a big subject we're talking about today, that maybe if Nick had started Kem from the start of the game, Jonas wouldn't have gotten off to such a great start. And this happened against Jokic on Saturday night also. We have these centers come in and they establish such a great baseline for the other team's offensive game plan that, they get all the rebounds, they're making putbacks. That's absolutely killing us. So I completely agree, Jake. We need to start a center. And hopefully after the game, Nick Nurse was saying we need to reassess how we start our centers. So hopefully we'll do. All right, let's Love Face, you're out of here, bro. Get on out. Let me see if I can just put the user in timeout. Hide the user. Okay. All right. Keep going. Yeah, Jay, great first question. This has been a topic we talked about a lot this year. We talked about it at the beginning of the year, and now it's starting to rear its head again because of what's happened recently in the last two games. Tom Duke sticking his tongue out. 905 is first in the East. All right, bringing in that positivity. Yeah, they're going to play again tomorrow, I believe, is their next game. They're playing the same time we're playing Minnesota. Maybe we play Minnesota a little later. We have a double header where you watch the 905 game at 7 and then get to watch the Raptors play the Timberwolves after that, something like that, because I think they're both playing tomorrow. Tom Duke, I think that they're just giving Thad a shot. If it doesn't work, we move on. Alvin said the F word on the broadcast. Alvin said the F word last night. I didn't catch that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this is totally true about Thad. Like, if he doesn't work out, if he's not going to be a good player, like a good contributing bench player for us, we don't have to do anything with him this summer. We just let him walk and we get that money. That was one of the great flexible things about the deal and getting rid of Goran, is at least we get a guy on the ground, like Fred said, who's not sitting at home and can actually like do something and participate and try and contribute to the team at this point. So, but there's no like dialed in like for 3 years on this contract. It's like he's unrestricted free agent in the summer. If it doesn't work with Young, we let him walk. And so it's like in some ways he needs to really make sure he fits in and is productive and doing good things for our team, or it's like we just don't want you anymore because of whatever reason. So, all right, let me see. Summer. Good morning, Summer. Good to see you past all the love face. Do they show 905 games on Sportsnet? No, Summer, they do not, but I can tell you exactly how you can watch every single 905 game. You just need to watch it online on your browser. You go to the Raptors 905 official website, and for every single game, they have a live stream on that website. You can watch the entire game on there for free, and there's no ads and no nothing. So if you want, I'll put the link to their website up in the comments after I'm done with the live stream, so you can find it real easy. I found out this year too, because I was like, where the hell do we watch 905 games? How are people watching them? Because they're not on television. Well, they're online. So you just have to watch it like you're watching me right now. And I'll put the link to the site. And yeah, they're great fun to watch, obviously, because you get to see Justin Champagny, Delano Banton, and different people get way more minutes. And you see stuff like what Isaac Bonga's doing to develop, David Johnson, Reggie Perry, lots of different guys on there. Summer Low, I don't think I can watch it. I'm not in Canada. No, I don't think that matters because it's a global website. I don't know. There may be restrictive rules because of like things, but I doubt it. I think you could probably watch it if you're in the US for sure, probably for sure. In other continents, I'm not totally sure, but I'll put it up there. Jake saying, what do you think about Moses Brown? Honestly, I haven't really watched him or gone and looked at him very much because I'm the kind of guy that doesn't really get caught up in trade speculation and stuff like that. I just like to see what we do and then react to what we have finally when they're here. But I've been hearing really good things about him for most of the year, that he's very young, that he's raw, that it's going to be a couple of years before he's more refined and maybe like a really good player. And this may be why Dallas isn't playing him as much and they let him go, is because he's too much of a project for maybe their short-term plans right now. But that may be good for us because we like to develop guys and take time with them. But I don't think he's the savior that everybody thinks he is, that everybody thinks he's going to come in here and he's going to solve our center problems. No, because he's not a good player and a good NBA player yet. It's kind of like he would be like maybe 2 or 3 years from now, maybe he'd be able to save us in that. So I think he's not a short-term solution, but he could be a long-term solution. It's just a matter of if we want to invest in him coming into our organization with the development and the time and that kind of stuff. Is it worth it? And then maybe then you also have to look at his character. You have to look at his personality. Is he a culture fit? And that may be part of why he may not be like, they may not be rushing to get him in here. I don't know anything about him. He could be a really awesome person and a really good culture fit. But Bobby and Messiah are really going to look at that also, whether it's worth investing the development in him for possibly like, he could be a knucklehead, or he could be like, I don't want to be here. And he leaves. So we put in development and stuff like that. So we'll see. Summer Low saying news out there saying Lakers are looking to sign. Are you saying Brown or Dragic? Yeah, I bet the Lakers are looking at everybody. They didn't do anything at the trade deadline. They've been called a failure at the trade deadline because they didn't do anything to improve themselves. They absolutely failed at moving Westbrook. And, now the Laker fans are kind of like, you guys suck. And now they may be like, you got to do more on the buyout market because people are looking at us. We're not doing enough and stuff like that. So I could see that. Raymond Jacobs, most G League games can be watched from the G League site. Yeah, you can go there and get any of them. But specifically, if you want to be able to find the G League games for the 905, they have their own website, and they're all right up. It's right there, and that's the only one to choose from. So G's saying Raps have more money than the Lakers to sign him right now, from what I read. Lakers looking to sign everyone. Yeah, they just want help. Any which way they can get some help, they're going to try and do it. And I think that's true because of the Dragic deal and how much we freed up. I think we have $5 million right now that we can spend on a guy right now, which is huge. That's a huge amount of money at this point in the season to be freed up and go and sign someone. That's why I think we're going to get somebody quality. We're going to get somebody quality because they really got to be smart and think about all the different options and opportunities and what could possibly happen. And the way Bobby said it, he's like, he wants to see who all gets bought out, that he thinks more and more people get bought out in the next weeks, in the next 2 weeks. So he's not in a hurry. He wants to really see what the landscape develops into as we get closer to March the 1st. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Listen, let's just put this one in the bank and put it away. We don't need to see this or dwell on this too much, stuff like that. Just got to get to the next game. Get on the next game. Watch the tape. Feel bad today. Get it all out of our system, and then come back tomorrow better prepared, better energy. Come out and slug them in the face first and really just wipe this bad taste out of the mouth and show something completely different. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll do a real preview. I really like this idea about doing a live stream with y'all. We'll test it out on the celebrity game on Friday night. And so come check that out with me and stuff like that. I guess that'll be in the evening, y'all. So look for it in this around 7 or 8 at night, I guess, whenever they start doing it. G saying, yeah, apparently Raps can outbid anyone right now because of the Goran trade. Yeah, I believe that's true. That was part of like the flexibility and stuff like that. All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Really, please subscribe. I am trying to make a subscription drive through the rest of the end of the season to try and get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you've enjoyed my stream today in any kind of way, please hit that red button. All right, let's go Raptors. These are lumps of the road. We're going to have ups and downs. Let's take the downs to heart, but learn from them and come back and be better because of them. That's what we got to do, Raptors. Okay, tomorrow, preview for Timberwolves. And All-Star break after that. It's going to be a lot of fun, this All-Star break, seeing our guys get to participate in different stuff and cheer them on. All right, let's go, Raptors! Woo!